Hi here. This is a reading for the sign of Scorpio. We're going to do a Celtic cross spread with the Thoth deck, and what we see on the bottom of the deck is going to represent what you don't see coming. And once we get an idea of what the general message of this reading is going to be, we're going to pull 3 cards from the shadow deck to see what's going on in your subconscious and to see if there's any further clarifications we might need. So let's just see what happens. Okay, so today we are tuning in to the sign of Scorpio. So if that is your sun, your moon, or your rising sign, or however else you choose to identify today with the sign of Scorpio, you can let that be a way of interpreting the messages that are coming through. And as always, if the details of these messages do not fit, that is okay. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. And if none of the details are really fitting your situation, you can always check your other placements, or you can just stick around and see what's going on in the world of other Scorpios. So let us see what messages come through today. What can our Celtic cross show us? So, what things should we think about? Are there things we should meditate upon? Are there things that we should look out for? Any warnings that we should be aware of? Are there things that we should look forward to? Are there opportunities presenting themselves to us that we should try to seize upon? Are there things we should try to move our lives towards, or blockages to try to get past that can help us live a happier and more fulfilling life? What things should we be made aware of today for those who are trying to tap in to the energy of the sign of Scorpio? Let's do one more good shuffle. All right. All right. So let us see what we get today. So we start in the present moment with the Six of Swords. Not an easy card, but a productive card, a useful card. This is about taking the thoughts that possibly were painful to us in the past, our realizations, and using them to move forward. Taking the things we've learned, good and bad, and as the card says, science, using the scientific method to reevaluate exactly where we were and where we want to go. So we're still picking at things that may be painful or difficult for us, right? All those swords are all coming to that center point, and almost like surgery, trying to operate on our minds or our bodies or our thoughts or feelings. So we're really investigating things in a way that feels somewhat cold and difficult at first, but it's really so we can figure out what makes things tick so that we can help things actually work more efficiently going forward. There's also a little bit of a message of a journey that's behind this card. In the Rider-Waite version of this card, there is a boat filled with a bunch of swords that's moving forward on some kind of journey. So this is taking our thoughts and the things that we have learned from our life up to this point and using them as lessons as we navigate whatever the next step is going to be. So let's see what crosses us. Yeah, there you go. It's very good to do some soul searching and some reflection as a new opportunity is being presented to us. Perhaps we want to make sure that this opportunity, whatever it is something that we do not waste. We want to use it, take this opportunity, take advantage of this opportunity, and make the best of it. So we need to reflect on either opportunities we have missed in the past or ones that we have not used to our benefit as well as we could have, and try to move forward in a constructive way with that. So yeah, that's a nice pair of cards right there. But let's see what the full cross is going to show us. Oh, the Empress, the Seven of Discs, the Prince of Wands. Okay, we have the Six of Discs, success in front of everything, that's nice. 10 of Wands, the Tower, the Queen of Wands, And the Princess of Wands. All that fire. Wow. This reminds me of the reading that I just did for Libra, where there was no fire. Now we have all of this fire, right? So in that card, we had a full court of cups, but we were missing the fire energy. Now we have almost the full court of fire, and we have absolutely no water energy. So certainly there's a little bit of imbalance here. Maybe the readings are starting to affect each other on a macro level, but that's interesting. Okay, and I assure you, I shuffle these decks quite thoroughly in between readings. So for this to happen is unusual. Maybe I should shuffle a little bit more, but I assure you, I shuffle quite thoroughly. So this is interesting. So okay, let's get a sense then of what's going on here. We have in terms of our major arcana, we have the Empress and the Tower. So that's an interesting pairing, right? The Tower is usually a very difficult card of having to reevaluate things before they come crashing down around us. There's something that has to end. There's something that has to give way if the future is going to happen, which, of course, the future always happens. You cannot stop the flow of time. And so this is an obstruction that has to go down, which is interesting. That is a destructive force, and we've got the Empress on the other side here as a creative force. So it's almost like here's a beginning, there's some stuff that's going to happen, and then this is the destruction as we move forward into whatever the next construction is going to be, like a big loop. In terms of our other cards, for our court cards, we have, as I already mentioned, we have almost the entire suit of Wands court cards, except for the Knight. Now, unlike the Libra reading that I did, there are no Knights here, so that's interesting. But we have the Prince of Wands, we have the Queen of Wands, and the Princess of Wands, and those are the only core cards we have. But lots of fire, right? Lots of fire. So perhaps the people around you really energize you, or maybe there's a group of people you want to connect with that really help energize and empower you, and that might be something that you're looking for, or maybe lacking, perhaps. Or maybe it's something that you currently have and you're not tapping into it enough. Okay, but anyway, so the other cards that we've got here, so in terms of our 4 suits and the minor arcana, we have the Ace of Discs, we have the 6 of Discs, and we have the 7 of Discs. Okay, so that's nice. We have Success is a nice card to have. Failure a little difficult, but there's an opportunity here. So we'll unpack that as we go through, but that's our earth energy. For air energy, we have the 6 of Swords, and that's it, which is a more positive card from the suit of Swords, so that's not bad. In terms of our water, as I said, there is no water energy here. Things are very cold, which, you're Scorpio, you're water sign. Where's the water, right? And in terms of fire energy, like I said, we have the 3 court cards really coming in strong here, as well as the 10 of Wands. Okay, so lots of fire here. All right, so what is happening here? What is the message here? So as I said, we start off with the 6 of Swords. This is the science card of really reevaluating things. And for this to have been crossed by a Ace of Discs means that we are really trying to evaluate an opportunity that is being presented to us. So perhaps in the past, with the Empress being behind us rather than in front of us, perhaps this opportunity is motivated by a person or thing that you see as being a source of creative comfort for you. I don't want to just say a source of inspiration, right? It's not just a page. It's not just an ace. This is the Empress. This is like the divine source, really, of all of that creative energy that allows you that you tap into when you want to bring something into the world. It's nurturing, it's comforting, it's beautiful, it inspires you, and I think that is where this Ace of Disc is coming from. So whether you are in a position where you're around people that make you feel this way, or maybe you've picked up an old hobby, or maybe you've reconnected with someone that you really feel close to, whatever that connection is, I see it as bringing into your life the realization of some kind of opportunity. Maybe not the realization, right? It's not there's no Ace of Swords or anything around here, and there's no sword. There's not a lot of air energy here. Maybe this is the realization of this opportunity and how important this might be for you. So we've got this creative force in your life that is presenting you with something, and you're now looking at it and realizing you can do something with this. You can build something with this. You can make something really beautiful as long as you use this properly. Right? We don't want to fall back into bad habits. Perhaps you've had opportunities in the past of good things that have come into your life and you've not seized upon them and you've let them fall away, and that's left you in a place of feeling a sense of failure. Right? We have failure in front of us. Now, I think what is happening here is I'm not saying that this is going to be a failure. It's not saying that we are going to have this opportunity and we're just going to waste it and it's just going to be the same cycle again. That is in front of us in the timeline because that's the feeling of failure, not the action of failure occurring. It's the card that represents us putting all of this work into something and not really seeing the results and not knowing whether or not our work is worthwhile or not. The 7 is not saying that you failed at the task. It's saying that you're failing to see the results of the fruits of your labor, and they may be coming, they may not be coming. So the challenge of the 7 of discs is to sort of stay in that energy and then decide, almost perhaps emotionally or rationally, whether or not this is something that's pushing us in the direction that we want to go in. It does ask us to really evaluate what our intentions are for the goals we're setting. If it's going to be a lot of work and we're not going to see the results right away, we have to really make sure that we're moving towards something that we really want. Now, we're inspired by the Empress, and we have an opportunity, and we're learning from the past, but we have to really be honest with ourselves. Is this the work that's going to be constructive for us? I think it is. The fact that we have a 6 of discs above everything, the card of success, that to me indicates that this is something you want to move forward towards. And whether you're seeing that success now or not, you're still motivated by it. But you're not seeing it. And you have to make sure that you don't let that frustration get you down. Now, again, really make sure you're working on something you want to put your time into. When you're given this ace of disc, it's like a coin you're going to put into a machine and decide whether or not that's the machine you want to turn on with that. You only have limited resources. So make sure you're putting your time into something you want. But if it is something that you want, keep that light of success as it's not a star, but look, that looks very much like a star there, right? It's like the star of success guiding us forward. Now, it's not the star in the sense of being your true calling, but it is a guiding force that's going to push you in a direction to build something despite the frustrations you might feel along the way. So, and underneath that, we have the Prince of Wands. That is the fire inside of you. So the card at the top there, that success, that 6 of disc, to me is you putting a carrot in front of your face to see, oh, I want to achieve these things. I want this to be something I create in my life. I reconnected with the Empress, whatever that is for you, that has inspired you to take an opportunity, and you're now looking forward to what the goal is, even though it's not going to happen tomorrow. But on the other side of that, there's also a force from inside you as well. Not just a force in front of you, but a force from inside you. And that's what this card is representing here with the Prince of Wands. Right? There's a chariot there really carrying us forward from within. And whatever it is that the Empress brought into your life, you can see both within you and outside of you an inspiration to move towards creating this quality thing that you have that is possible with this opportunity. Okay, so the thing is, with the Prince of Wands, there is a little bit of a naivety there. Right? We have to make sure that we're making the right choices. Right? You may have the passion to do something great. You may have the passion to want to construct something really awesome with whatever you're being given with this Ace of Discs. But that's why the Science card is there. We cannot just go gung-ho into the situation and start creating and doing everything. Because like I said, there's the risk of failure. You could end up in an opportunity where things don't pay off. And so in order to navigate that properly, we have to stay positive with the guiding force of the 6 of Cups. We have to stay encouraged by our own inner drive to just do things because we know it's what we need to do, the thing that makes us feel empowered inside of us. And we need that Science card in between them to kind of keep a balance between our ideal dream, what we want to create, and the practicality of what is actually possible in the world. And if you get all of that together into balance, the thing that the Empress is looking forward to, she can see past what is hidden by all of that failure and that frustration along the way. If this is something that really has inspired you and you really do think there's an opportunity to succeed here, then look past all those difficulties and see what you can see beyond that darkness, and see if that that opportunity can lead to something that you really want in your life, that success that you really want. I mean, maybe also the success could represent some external force that's helping you get through these difficult periods. You should always be trying to work with other people with whatever it is you're trying to accomplish, because if you do things alone, you've only got your own energy. The Six of Discs could also represent that the force pulling you through this darkness, these fear of failure, is taking opportunities from other people to help you build whatever it is that you're envisioning here. Okay. Now, it's not going to be easy, as we already saw with the Seven of Discs here, and even success is not going to be easy. With the Ten of Wands, that's the card of the burden it takes. That once you've completed something, you still have to carry that weight. You don't just create something and forget about it. That's the lesson of the story of the novel Frankenstein. You don't just create something and then just say, I don't want you anymore, be gone. No, you have to take care of the things you bring into the world, and that requires work. And perhaps that is also a challenge for you, is realizing just how much it's going to weigh upon you, the weight on your shoulders that you're going to have to deal with as you are going through this situation. So perhaps another fear you have is not just the work you need to do to create, but the work that is going to be involved after your creation has been made. So why the Tower? Why is the Tower here? I think the Tower is the breakthrough of realizing that if this is something that you really want, you really care about, then you can get to it by breaking down all of these fears and restrictions. Again, don't just, put the pedal to the metal. Don't just fly forward as fast as you can. Though with the Princess of Wands up there, that does sort of feel like the energy here. But I think before we get this off the ground, we need to make sure we have a plan. In fact, maybe the idea here is that you see from your past failures the things that could potentially be holdups and things that are going to keep you from succeeding. And perhaps instead of trying to just say, well, I know that's not going to work, I'm just going to give up and go back to what I was doing before, what we need to do is learn from our mistakes and make a plan, so that way we can put the hit that gas pedal and just fly forward as fast as we can, but do so in an intelligent way. If we just fly forward without a plan, where you just kick down the door and just start lobbing off heads kind of thing, that's not going to be constructive, right? Then you're going to look around and realize, oh, wow, not everybody in this room was trying to hurt me. This is you want to take a little bit of an observation of the situation, learn from your past mistakes, and then once you've formulated a plan, execute that as strongly as possible. So build a plan and break through and go forward as confidently as possible, because you're going to have to deal with all of these different situations, and that may be difficult for you, but that's, as long as you're planning ahead for that, you should be able to hopefully handle those difficulties. Now, if it gets to a point where you're carrying too much, seek out help from other people. As I said, it's always important to get help from those around you when you're dealing with anything difficult, whether you're trying to create something or whether you're just carrying a burden. Get help from others. But for me, back to getting a little off topic here. But what the Tower to me is representing is you breaking out of a traditional model of that's just too hard, I don't want to do that, I'm not even going to bother trying. Break that mindset away and say, I'm going to do this despite the fact that it's hard. In fact, maybe look at it and say, I'm going to do this because it's difficult. I'm going to challenge myself, and I know there could be failure, but there could also be success. And you can almost let that be a bit of excitement. You're in the tower, maybe, you're sitting in your garage in your fancy car, not going anywhere, and you're like, I want to go adventure, I want to do things. I want to see whatever this opportunity takes me. And so you kind of want to just hit the gas pedal, like I said, and just blast through the doors of the tower. And I think that's a good energy. I think that's why we have all this fire, is you want to tap into that. You want to be fueled to move forward rather than saying stuck, right? We don't want to stay overly fixed, We don't want to be too much of a fixed sign. We want to move forward. We want to grow. We need a little mutability in our lives. So break down those traditional thought patterns that keep you stuck and still. And again, use the fear of failure and the allure of success as a force to excite you. You don't know what's going to happen. And make a plan. Like I said, it's important to learn from your lessons and make a plan. But take those lessons and see where they take you going forward. See where those lessons can be built upon and give you something bigger going forward. So now the challenge is the Queen of Wands. And I think this is not going to be easy for you. I think standing in your own power and being confident in just how much you are able to accomplish is something that you know you have inside of you, but it's not something that you feel confident about tapping into regularly. You know, you've got the power of the Queen of Wands. You know what you can do. You know you've got these skills. You know you have the authority. You know you have the charisma and the power to be able to do awesome, powerful, great things. But your challenge is stepping into that. Again, I think you're locked away in a tower of your own doubts, your own anxieties and fears and worries about the future, but you're going to be able to break through that, right? And you've got a lot on your plate. I mean, with Ten of Wands, you've got a lot to deal with. Or I was seeing this, in the future, but I mean, this isn't our present energy. So perhaps you are currently just carrying a lot of stuff and you're like, okay, I see this opportunity. It looks awesome, but like, I got all these other things I got to do, right? Um, Maybe pick and choose which of those things are really worth your time. Decide whether or not the things you're working on are things that are important or they're just busy tasks that people are giving you. That's another thing to consider with your energy being the Ten of Wands. And maybe that's also what you need to do when you break through the tower is you need to cast off the things that you're putting your energy into that are not getting you anywhere. Break through that tower. Use that Prince of Wands energy to move forward and embody your Queen of Wands commanding power that you have inside of you, right? And there's no knight here, so it's a very tender sort of power. It's a very nurturing sort of power that you need to step into. Move forward not just with like emperor energy. The emperor, he's in control, he's commanding, he's telling everybody what to do, but like he's kind of a cold, like jerk at some level, right? He's not the nicest guy in the world. He may have good intentions, but like he's not like a friendly person you're gonna sit down and like have a nice calm conversation with. The Queen of Wands, she's a fun person to be around. She's gonna be the life of the party. She's gonna have that same commanding energy, and she's going to bring a lot of joy and positivity and help other people really feel comfortable and excited to join in whatever it is that she's taking part in. So I think your challenge is stepping into that energy and then going as far as you can forward into the future with this power. Take your lessons, build upon what you have, and then just go all in on building the most awesome, powerful, positive thing you can with this opportunity. And if it's just you and trying to work on yourself, I stand by that. Work on yourself, figure out the best parts of you, learn what does and doesn't work, and work on the things that don't work, emphasize the things that do work, be confident in the whole picture of what it is that you are or what you're building. And then with that Princess of Wands, once you know you've got the perfect sort of model of what you're trying to accomplish, whether it's a product or a project or whether it's you, whatever that is, once you've built the best version of it, just go forward into the world and show everyone just how amazing this thing is that you've created and how powerful the things are that you can bring into the world. Okay? Now, to touch on why there's no water here, you've got all this passion, but you've got no emotional energy behind it. So that's another thing to keep in mind is as you're going through this process, stop and think about how all of this makes you feel. Right? We have a fear of failure. We have science. This is mental energy of constructing things, but again, there's no emotional resonance in this other than what kind of comes with the Empress. And maybe that's what will help you get through your challenge to help you get back into your confidence is maybe you need a little bit of tender water energy inside of you. That's why, as I said, it's the Queen of Wands. There's a nurturing quality to her as opposed to the King or the Emperor, or it can be the Knight in this deck, or the Emperor. So what I really think that you need to tap into as well is get in touch with your sensitive side and don't be afraid of that. Let that be a source of power as well as your fiery passion. So, all right, let's see what we've got and what you don't see coming. There's that water energy that you're missing. It's very stiff, stable water energy, but it's luxury. I mean, maybe that's something that you can let guide you. Maybe there's a lot of flux here, and maybe you need a little bit of stability among all of this to get a sense of control over the situation, because it's all about making a plan and navigating into the unknown, even though you don't exactly know where it's going to take you, being guided by your goals and the things you want to accomplish. Maybe the other thing to keep in front of your mind is that positive stability, that emotional stability that can come from doing something really good in your life. Now, this can be I usually see this as a plateau card. This is not where you want to stay, but it's a guide to get you to some place that's better than where you might be right now. We at least want to be at a 4 of Cups. We really want to be pushing towards a 9 or a 10 in the long term. But if you're in a really difficult place, at least getting to the comforts of a 4 is not a bad place. It is the card of luxury. So let that the stability of your emotions be something that can calm you when there's all this chaotic energy happening around you. Right? Even the Empress is almost more of a spark than a calming, quiet, reflective emotional energy. So perhaps that's what you really need as well, is a little bit of zen-like emotional energy. Take some time to do some breathing exercises, sit quietly with yourself, and just get in touch with the way you feel about things. And that'll allow you to be in more control with this fire energy. So, all right, let's see what the shadow deck has for us. I'm going a little long. All right. So let's see what we got here for you, Scorpio. What's going on in your subconscious? Feels good. Queen of Cups, there's the water. 2 of Swords and Temperance. Okay. Yeah, like I said, I think the cold, calm 4 of Cups water energy that you don't see coming is what you need to help you sort of cool things off. With all this fire, I see Temperance as like a card of like a forge that you're building something, but it needs a mix of fire and water. If things get too fiery, it just melts. And if things are too watery, then nothing ever really takes in a form to be produced. So you need that balance of those two extremes. So you need a little bit of calm, cool, soothing water energy. And notice we have right above the Empress is the Queen of Cups. I think that is the nurturing side of her. So I think perhaps that's why there is not as much water energy here. Is maybe the Queen of Cups for you, whoever or whatever that is for you, is very powerful, really taps into something deep inside of you, and you almost have to like be calm about it because it can be overpowering how strong that emotional connection can be for you. And so with the Queen of Cups, I think that is representing that side of how the Empress, again, whatever or whoever the Empress represents for you, how that affects you internally. That is the sort of vision in your mind of what this Empress represents for you, and that nurturing energy that is going to be something that encourages you to move forward, but you have to almost keep it in check because it's so powerful. And that's why you've got all this fire energy, is you're almost like running away from how deeply affecting that emotional energy is for you. So you're trying to get to this stability in your life of emotional control so that way you can start building and seizing on your opportunity. Maybe that's what you need to learn from the Science card, is how to get your heart and your the two sides of your heart, really, right? The passion and the nurturing emotional side of it and balance, so that it can be the thing that you need to fuel you. And that's kind of nice there with the 2 of Swords, is because you need to use your mind to keep in balance the different aspects of how you feel, your passion and your nurturing, receptive emotional side. And once those two are in balance with each other, then the mind can think clearly, and you can then execute your plan that you've learned from whatever experiences you've had, and you can put that into the world and do something really awesome with it. And let's see here. Our final card is the Page of Swords. Interesting. Huh. So maybe whatever this is, as you push forward, that energy of the Princess of Wands going forward, you're going to have an insight after you go through whatever this experience is. And that Page of Swords is going to be the what presents you with this new insight. You're going to have a new way of looking at life, possibly, or maybe an inspiration for the next project going forward, or the next thing that you're going to be working on in your life. But I think that's the what you're going to find that comes up in your mental space as you're going through this work on yourself and whatever it is you're trying to do with this new opportunity. it's going to teach you a new lesson. That's going to be one more sword to add to your Six of Swords energy. Now, I'm not saying that and that we're going to get a Seven of Swords. That's not a great card, right? But I mean, like, maybe the Page of Swords is going to help you better utilize the lessons you've learned so far. But I feel it is more of you're going to get a new insight, a new perspective on life after you make this big leap forward with whatever this is for you. So get that emotional energy in balance. Don't ignore it, but don't let it quench this fire either. Don't just obsess over the washy emotional feelings that you get from the Empress and the Queen of Cups. Let the fire push you forward. Break away from old habits of thinking. You may have failure, but you may have success. So think wisely and use all of that going forward to do something good with your time and your life, really. So that's all I have for today. I don't want to run too much longer. So, as always, if the images on these cards have given you any different or even more sort of messages than what I'm saying, use your own intuition to get for yourself the messages you need to receive from this. I'm here just to help guide the process, but I hope this was helpful. And at the very least, I hope you enjoyed this. So, as always, please like and subscribe if you haven't, as always. Leave a comment if there's anything you want to share or any insights that you have that other people might benefit from. And if you know other people who might benefit from watching this or any of my other videos, please share them as you see fit. Let's try to put a little more positivity in the world. And yeah, that's all I have for you today. I hope you have a great rest of your day.